Hey everybody, I'm Samurai Sam, and today I'm going to start looking through all of my GameCube games. I was a huge fan of the GameCube when it was brand new, and it made me sad to see a lot of people back then kind of writing it off as like a kiddie console and seeing it not do as well as it should have against the likes of the PS2 and the Xbox. But it's cool now seeing a lot more people appreciate it for how good it really was. And so, without further ado, I'm going to show you everything I have in my current GameCube library, starting with Alien Hominid. This is an interesting game because it started out as a Flash game on a website called Newgrounds, and it ascended to like an actual legit console release. And this is a run and gun kind of Contra-like, and it's quite good. And you can play co-op, and it's got like a couple neat little mini games in there too. And if you like games like Contra and Metal Slug, check this game out. It's worth your time. Here is the first Animal Crossing. I played this game a lot. I played it when it first came out, and then I picked it up many years later, like almost a decade later, I want to say, and like completed the museum and everything. I love this game, and still to this day, this is like the only Animal Crossing that I've really like felt like putting the time into. I kind of played this one so much that I didn't feel like playing any of the other ones. I just think it's a really well done game. You probably know what Animal Crossing is. I probably don't have to explain that. It's like a virtual life game. You have your own town, and I really like the way. Oh, and one notable thing that people like about this particular Animal Crossing is that you can unlock NES games in it and put them in your house and stuff. There's like something like 15 of them, I think. I like the way that particular Animal Crossing game was made. Like the newest one, New Horizons, doesn't suit me so much. It feels more like craft your own island, and that's not really what the first one is like, which is the one that I like the most. We've got Baten Kaitos. This is an RPG that uses a card-based battle system. And it's got really strange voice acting because it sounds like they really weren't in a very good room to record the voices. It just doesn't quite sound right. I don't know how to describe it exactly. I know some people who really love this game, and I've played it a little bit, but like I've had a little bit of trouble getting into it. Like just haven't really felt like continuing on after like an hour or so. But at some point I'll probably play it. I don't know if it's going to be the third time or the fourth time or whatever. At some point I'll give it another shot. And then there's Baten Kaitos Origins. I was lucky to pick this up from GameStop when they were selling all their old GameCube games for cheap when they were getting rid of them. And I think this one is considered better than the first one, possibly. I'm not sure. But this is actually a prequel, and they say the gameplay is really good. But I don't know. Here is Beach Spikers, Virtua Beach Volleyball. Fun fact, the sport of volleyball was invented in the town directly to the north of me. And this game, it's a volleyball game by Sega, and I can't really say too much about it, other than I do kind of like sports games, and I've heard this one's good, so I picked it up when I saw it. And then Bomberman Generation. And there's so many Bomberman games. I'm not sure like how this one ranks in terms of multiplayer. Of course, it does have a single-player campaign. And yeah, I can't really say how good it is. I haven't really spent time with it. Here's a game, Chibi Robo, that a lot of people really like. It's a very like cartoony, quirky game where you play this little robot who's like owned by this family, and like you go around and like doing stuff to take care of the family and keep the house tidy and stuff. And when I played it, I don't know, for like an hour or 2 hours, and it kind of felt like a little too much of like a chore to play, and like it's kind of annoying. You have to keep plugging yourself in to like recharge your energy and stuff. But people do really like this game, and I guess maybe I didn't give it enough time, so maybe I'll give it more time. Like, I can't deny that it's a charming game. Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex. I believe this is the first one like the original designers didn't make, or I'm not sure. This one is definitely considered not as good as the first three on the PlayStation, but it's not a bad game from what I can tell. Apparently it's just good. I don't know if I'm actually going to spend the time with it. Maybe I will. I do like the Crash games, so yeah, it might be worth my time. Custom Robo. This is a robot. Well, like the title says, custom. You kind of like build robots and you fight them in like kind of like an arena setting. And I'm not sure, this game doesn't really like appeal to me that much. I might just get rid of this one. I know it's like a good game, but like I don't know. Like it's hard for me to see myself really getting invested in it. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. This is the only DDR game on the console, and as you can imagine, it's DDR with Mario, and like so the songs are mostly like either remixes of Mario tunes or like remix folk music and stuff. And there's a story mode where you have to stop like Waluigi and then Bowser from doing their things and taking over the world or whatever. And Reception on this one is a little bit mixed, and my expectations were a little bit low going in, but it actually was a little better than I thought it was going to be. One of the criticisms is that it's too easy, and that it is true that it's easy, but you can unlock songs on harder difficulties, which to me aren't. They weren't as easy as I thought. Like, it's not as hard as you're going to find in most DDR games, but it's still like not a cakewalk. The problem is unlocking them takes a while, and you have to play through the story mode like 3 times, and you can't skip the cutscenes, and that's kind of unfortunate. But still, I enjoyed my time in this game. I think it's worth it if you like DDR and Mario, which, who doesn't? Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. This game comes with the bongos. I actually have the bongos in the original box that came with this game over there. I don't know. I'm not going to bother to bring them out. I got this for free from my late friend Brian Castleberry. Rest in peace, Brian. But basically, this is a platformer, but it's very different from like what you'd expect. It's very different from like Donkey Kong Country, and it's got like none of the other characters from that and stuff. And like you collect a bunch of bananas in the stages, and like very much there's a lot of replay value here because you really want to go for like high scores and stuff. I think the Wii version is a little better. That's actually the one that I played all the way to the end. But I mean, this one's still pretty good, and the bongos work well enough. You can play this with the controller, but it's probably not as good, or it's certainly not how they intended you to play it. But yeah, interesting little game. And here we have Donkey Konga, another bongo game. And this is a rhythm game where you hit the bongo, depending on like, it'll say like left, right, both, or clap. And for clapping, I like to hit the side of the bongo rather than clap my hands because it's a little bit faster. But yeah, it's a pretty good rhythm game. Don't have too much else to say about it. I like rhythm games, so I got those games, of course. And then there's Donkey Konga 2, which is, I don't think there's anything terribly new with this one. It's like, just a new bunch of songs, and I don't know if like there's probably at least some kind of new mode on this one, but I forget. I have played both of them a little bit, but not like too much, and I don't remember exactly what each one offers. Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Now, when this first came out on the PS2, it's hard to imagine, but back in that time, there were really very few Dragon Ball games released in the United States, and so I was super hungry for a Dragon Ball game because I was really getting into it. And then this came out on the PS2, and like my cousins got it, and I just ate it up. Like, this game does do a really good job at like representing the show and like having all the voice actors and stuff. And I thought it was like so good, and when I heard like Toonami on Cartoon Network gave it like a 6 out of 10 review, I was like, how could you give it such a low review? It's so great. And then the GameCube version didn't come out until like a year later, and I was so excited when I found out the GameCube version was coming out. Yes, because I didn't have a PS2 yet. I only had a GameCube. But yeah, actually, after a while, I realized that this game isn't actually that great. Like, the fighting engine really isn't the best. Yeah, I mean, I mostly have this for nostalgia. But I mean, it's all right. Like, if you like Dragon Ball, you probably will enjoy it. But there's so many Dragon Ball games now, then why would you go back to it? So I don't know. For me, it's mostly a nostalgia piece. And then Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, which one thing about Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 is that it was kind of made for Western audiences, and so it ends at the Cell Saga because the Cell Saga was the one that had just ended at the time. So that one didn't have Boo. This one does have Boo, as you can see on the cover. And this one kind of does story mode a little differently by making it like a board game. Otherwise, it's kind of more the same. It's still kind of flawed, kind of a flawed battle system. And it does have a couple interesting, like, unique fusions in it, like Gokul and Tiencha. Actually, I think those are the only 2 unique ones. But that's one of the reasons why I still have this game. And Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 is a lot better than the first 2, but that's not on GameCube. It's only on PS2, unfortunately. This actually came out on GameCube after 3 came out on the PS2, so that's kind of weird. The GameCube version, I should mention, of Budokai 2 also has like an exclusive mode, or in like a few like costumes or something, in an exclusive stage or something. It is the better version. Here's Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. I'm not super into horror games, although this one is pretty cool. Like, it does a lot of stuff to kind of like mess with the player and stuff. And also, Psycho Mantis will call out this card when he reads it on your memory cards. Call out this game when he sees the data on your memory card. So that's pretty cool. At some point, I'll probably try it. It's probably not really going to be my thing, but I do respect this game. Extreme G3. I played a lot of the original Extreme G on the 64 with my cousins when I was younger, and that's why I have this. And at some point, I'll give this one a shot. I really can't tell you much of anything about it. But I will at some point. Then F-Zero GX. I am super into this game. This is amazing. Great graphics, great gameplay, just great everything, great music. It's awesome. One of my biggest gaming achievements in my life was beating the story mode on the highest difficulty to unlock all the extra racers and tracks. And most people I mean, it's so hard that most people just say it's not possible. And honestly, when I go back to it, I'm like, how did I ever do this? But yeah, I did it. And man, this game is so great. And I'm really sad this is the last console F-Zero that we've had. And I really wish they would make another one. Although, I mean, GX is really, really good though. Like, GX and the X expansion kit for 6040D, two amazing games that I will always treasure. Fight Night Round 2. Now, this is obviously a boxing game by EA, but this is a particularly interesting release because the GameCube version has Super Punch-Out on it, and also Little Mac as a playable character. At least the Super Nintendo version of Little Mac, not the one that you're used to seeing from the NES version. And apparently this is a really good game. It has really high review scores, but, I haven't really tried it. I picked it up because of the Nintendo stuff, but I will actually give it a shot at some point. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. This is a multiplayer-focused kind of like adventure RPG, and you ideally want to play this with multiple Game Boy Advances and the cable to connect them to the GameCube. And I played this through with a friend who had played it before, and it's all right, but it's not anything that I would say is a must-play. Not as great as I would say Zelda Four Swords, but it's an interesting game. And it's got the progression style and stuff is very different, and you kind of have to figure out kind of a riddle in order to find the final dungeon and stuff, and it's kind of neat. If you're into multiplayer games, it's worth a shot. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. So this is Fire Emblem 9, and this was I don't have too much to say. I guess I don't even know where I was going with that. What am I saying? Anyway, I love Fire Emblem. I guess that's the thing I want to say. I was really excited for this when it first came out. It didn't quite live up to my expectations. I don't think it's as good as the GBA Fire Emblem 6 and 7. And it's a little too easy. It's the US version is a little dumbed down from the Japanese version, unfortunately. And even on hard mode, it's not really that hard. It's pretty good. The story is fine, but I struggle to remember details of the story after having played it through twice. It does a lot of things different to mix it up. It's not just a straight up 3D version of the previous Fire Emblem games, so that's cool. It adds a beast race called the Lagoos that can transform and stuff. And it's a good game. It's not one of my top Fire Emblem games, but it is worth playing if you can somehow find it for an affordable price these days. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I haven't really played this one, but the idea of a Quidditch game seems cool, and apparently it's pretty decent. So, at some point I'll fire it up. Ikaruga, really, really good shoot 'em up from Treasure. This one involves switching between light and black to absorb bullets of the matching color of your ship. And of course, the bolts of the opposite color will kill you. And so the gameplay is very much, it very much revolves around that and works very well. It is a little short, which is a shame, and it is quite difficult as well. But, if you like shoot 'em ups, you have to play this game. It's one of the more highly regarded shoot 'em ups, and for good reason. Killer 7, this is kind of a, it's it's some kind of an action game. I don't know how to describe it exactly. Basically, you move back and forth. Everything about this game is weird, okay? That's one thing to say about this game. It's got a unique graphic style. The story seems interesting, but, when I play this game, it just doesn't seem like it's my kind of thing. It just doesn't click with me. I definitely respect it. I think it's got, a cool style and stuff, but, I just don't, I don't know. I don't feel like it's for me. I'll probably sell that one. Kirby Air Ride. This is a racing game where you ride around on stars and you can get power-ups that you can use to your advantage to win races against your friends and stuff. And this one has a unique mode. I forget what it's called actually. Oh, City Trial mode, where you fly around this map freely with 3 other players and collect power-ups, and then you have to do some kind of a trial at the end using your powered-up Kirby with his specific statistics. That's kind of the basis of Smash Run in Smash for 3DS. It seems like a cool game. I haven't really dug into the single player really at all, but I've played with friends a few times, and it's fun. Not my favorite racing game, but seems like a cool game. Lost Kingdoms, this is kind of I want to say this is an action RPG, and it uses cards. You have a deck, and you can summon monsters that will come out beside you, and I don't remember exactly how it works. I haven't really played it too much, and there's actually a 2-player versus mode, which is pretty cool. And then there's Lost Kingdoms 2, which I think is considered better than the first one, but again, I'm just going off of what I've seen people say. I can't say for myself. At some point, I'll give it some time and see what I think. Luigi's Mansion. This is a game that initially I was really excited for it. Like, obviously, this is one of the first GameCube games, and so I was actually, this is the first GameCube game I ever played. I believe I played it in a kiosk at a store at like a Walmart or something, and but I didn't play it until years later, like more than a decade later. But I had a lot of fun with this game. Yeah, actually, I remember when I first got this game, I got stuck early on, and I just didn't come back to it. And then I came back to it like years later, and I had a lot of fun. The main knock on it is that it's short, which is true, but it does have replay value, and you know, you want to play and get the highest score you can at the end of the game. And yeah, it is really good. It didn't get a sequel until many years later, Dark Moon on the DS, and I don't think Dark Moon is that great. And then the third one on Switch, we'll see. We'll get to that in a future episode. I haven't actually played it too much myself. Madden 08, this was the last GameCube game ever released in North America. I don't know about worldwide. But this is actually considered one of the best Madden games, and I do like sports games and Madden games, so I will spend some time with this at some point, legitimately. Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. This is a great game, one of my favorite golf games of all time. And it's easy to pick up and play, but also has some challenge. Like, Bowser's course is going to make anybody cry. It's like ridiculously hard. It's got like an easy way to shoot and a more complicated way to shoot that can reward you if you are good. And it has connectivity with the Mario Golf on Game Boy Advance, where you can like level up your character from that and bring them into this game and stuff. And yeah, it's just a really good game. Good graphics, good gameplay, good everything. Highly recommended if you have any affinity at all for golf games. Mario Kart Double Dash. This is one of the most unique Mario Kart games because you have like two characters in one kart and you switch between them. And every character has well, the characters have like a special item that's like bigger than regular items. And each character has at least one special item. There's one pair of characters that can get all of them that you unlock later. But basically, yeah, it's very unique among Mario Kart games, and it controls kind of different too. I wouldn't say it's the best Mario Kart, but it's worth having because it's so different. Yeah, definitely check it out. I've had a lot of fun with that one. Mario Party 4. This is not terribly different from the ones on the 64. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've enjoyed Mario Party 2 and 3 a little more than this one, but this one's still good. I feel like it's mostly a matter of like preference, which mini games you like. I definitely like this one too. I did play through the single player campaign, and it was short, but pretty good. I mean, obviously it's meant to be played with multiplayer, and yeah, it's good. I can't give it like a super detailed review, I guess. It's Mario Party, and it's Mario Party done pretty well. Mario Party 5, and I want to say they did things a little differently in this one. Like, I tried the single player, and it was kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, I think it's still a good game, as far as I can tell. Yeah, right? This is a good game, right? I don't know. I mean, it's Mario Party. Yeah, it wasn't until like Mario Party 8 that things started getting weird, and then 9 got really weird. Mario Party 6 is when they introduced the microphone, and I actually really like the microphone mini games. Microphone games involve one person who has a microphone, and you say things into the microphone to do certain things, and it actually works really well. It can tell what words you're saying, but that's only like with a few of the mini games. It's not like it's all of them. And yeah, from what I can tell, it's a pretty good game. Then Mario Party 7 also uses the microphone. This one, I think, is considered... they leave things up to chance, I think, a lot more in this one. Like, there's the balance. There's always, like, somewhat of a mix between skill and luck in Mario Party games. And I think 7 is considered one where they tilted a little bit far in the way of luck, but I'm not speaking really from personal experience. Mario Power Tennis. I haven't played this one too much, but, you know, I like Mario sports games. One thing sad about this is that it's not, for some reason, compatible with the Mario Tennis on Game Boy Advance. I think that's a huge missed opportunity, but, I mean, I still think this game seems pretty cool, and I will give it a shot at some point. Mario Superstar Baseball. I do really like baseball. This game I'm not so sure on. Like, it just doesn't seem to be, like, really that special. I don't think it really lends itself to benefiting from the Mario universe as much as, like, some of the other sports. But I don't know. I've spent a little bit of time with it, but not too much. I don't know. Maybe I'll spend more with it, and I'll grow to like it more. Mega Man X Command Mission. This is like an RPG in the Mega Man X universe, which is interesting, but I can't say how good it is because I haven't played it too much. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. This was my first Metal Gear game, and I really, really liked it back then. I played through it like 4 times because when you beat it, you unlock like a different thing, like a different cheat item or something. And yeah, it's really good. It's got a fantastic story. This is a remake, obviously, of Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 with like what was then modernized graphics and stuff. And the cutscenes are made a little bit more over the top and stuff, but I didn't mind. Well, of course, I didn't. I had seen the original, but I didn't like grow attached to it. I didn't play the whole thing back then, so this was like really my first playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 1, and I think it's really good, and I still think it's worth it today, even if you've played the PS1 game. It fixes like the gameplay really. It adds most of the gameplay elements from Metal Gear Solid 2, and in my opinion, makes it a lot more playable. Metroid Prime, and this is a variant that came with the Metroid Prime 2 demo. Metroid Prime is something that it just doesn't click with me. This game's very highly acclaimed by most people. It's like a first-person shooter, but like obviously with Metroid elements mixed in, kind of exploring the world, getting power-ups and stuff. But like, I don't know, something about it just doesn't jive with me. It's hard to say exactly what it is. I mean, it's been a while, so like I can't exactly tell you off the top of my head all the things that bothered me about it. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like really my thing. I don't have Metroid Prime 2, as you can see. Midway Arcade Treasures 3. Did we get to the first two? No, I don't think we did, because I have them on the next console that we're going to get to. But this one is focused on driving games, and it has not like a ton of games, but quality games, like Hydro Thunder and San Francisco Rush. So that's pretty cool, because those games were fairly recent at the time this came out, just like a few years old. So you're talking like multiple Dreamcast games on one GameCube disc. That's cool. Yeah, I like Midway. I like their arcade games, and their driving games are pretty cool. So, yeah, this one is definitely worth it if you like arcade driving games. And then we have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Now, I went through in my early teen years, I went through a big like Mortal Kombat craze, like a Mortal Kombat phase. Like I was just super into like anything to do with Mortal Kombat, and I really ate this game up, and I like played it to 100% completion and stuff. Going back to it now, it's a little bit hard. Like, the fighting system just isn't the best. Like, I think I sort of realized it, but didn't want to admit it back then. But like, it's just not as fun to play as something like Soul Calibur, and it's like gameplay feels a little bit stiff, and like the combos are not as interesting. But like, I mean, there's cool things about this game, like I like the characters, I like the moves and stuff, and I like the story and the lore of Mortal Kombat. But like, this one's hard to go back to. I'm not gonna lie, and that's kind of the same with Mortal Kombat Deception. It's aged a little bit better than Deadly Alliance for sure. It's got like an extensive single-player conquest mode. It's got a couple side modes as well, such as Mortal Kombat Chess, which is interesting, and Puzzle Combat. Yeah, it's a little better than Deadly Alliance for sure. GameCube version is not the version I first got, because this one came out like I think a year late or something. But this one has I almost called it Mortal Kombat. It has Shao Kahn and Goro as playable characters, which is exclusive to this version, aside from the future PSP version. Some of the unlockable characters are unlocked right off the bat. At least, characters that were unlockable in the original version of this game are available right off the bat in this game, which is cool. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to go back to it, probably, for me. But yeah, it's a good game. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it off here. We're about halfway through GameCube, and yeah, I don't want this video to be like super long. So stay tuned. Next time we're going to do GameCube Part 2. I'm Samurai Sam. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.